My niece was up there.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that one. Seated, please. Morning, everybody, and welcome to our annual Veterans Day ceremony. Again this year, we will be joined by VFW Post 1418 out of Champlain and Legion Post 767 out of Champlain also. Those who have served and those currently serving in the uniformed services of the United States are ever mindful that the sweetness of enduring peace always has been tainted by the bitterness of personal sacrifice. We are compelled to never forget that while we enjoy our daily pleasures, there are others who have endured and may still be enduring the agonies of pain, deprivation, or internment. Before we begin our activities, we will pause to remember our prisoners of war and missing in action. We call your attention to this small table, which occupies a place of dignity and honor. It is set for one, symbolizing the fact that our armed forces personnel are missing from our ranks. They are referred to as POWs, MIAs. We call them comrades. They are unable to be with their loved ones and families, so we join together to pay our humble tribute to them and to bear witness to their continued absence. The table is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his or her oppressors. The tablecloth is white, symbolic of the purity of intentions to respond to their country's call of arms. The single rose in the vase signifies the blood they may have shed in sacrifice to ensure the freedom of our beloved United States of America. This rose also reminds us of our missing comrades' families and friends who keep the faith while awaiting their return. The red ribbon on the base represents the red ribbons worn on the lapels of thousands who demand, with unyielding determination, a proper account of all our comrades who are not among us. A slice of lemon on the plate reminds us of their bitter fate. The salt sprinkled on the plate reminds us of the countless volunteers of families as they wait. The glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us at this time. The chair is empty. They are not here. The candle is the reminiscent of the light of hope, which lives in our hearts to illuminate their way home, away from their captors, into the open arms of a grateful nation. The American flag reminds us that many of them may never return and have paid the supreme sacrifice to ensure our freedom. Let us pray to the Supreme Commander that all of our comrades will soon be back within our ranks. Let us remember and never forget their sacrifice. May God forever watch over them and protect them and their families. At this time, Chaplain will lead us in prayer. Uncover and please stand.
O God of hosts, we bow our heads in thankfulness for the victories thou hast granted us. To those people who have united with us to stamp out the evils of aggression, tolerance, and greed. We beseech thee to bring the blessing of our understanding to the families and friends in this and other lands of those who have given their lives, that men may be free. Grant, O God, that these closest to the fallen may mingle the pain of their losses with the light of sacrifice for civilization, sacrifice for a better world for this and other generations yet unborn. Grant us too, O God, the courage to so live with the family of nations around the world that the end of strife will not be the beginning of our enduring peace. Grant us patience in our planning with our fellow man and women, a world in which nations may resolve their differences by peaceful means. Touch, though, the souls of people in every land with the enduring light of wisdom, so they may form a brotherhood which will strive to further the art of peace under laws and ethics blessed by thy love. Grant us now thy continued blessing upon unity and strength that makes victories possible in war, that we may win greater victories of peace. Amen.
Please remain standing and uncovered. We'll recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. There are more seats up here available. If anybody from the back that's standing, there are more chairs up here. On this day, Veterans Day, we are commemorating the service of veterans of all wars. On Veterans Day, we commemorate veterans past and present. What we like to do at some of our functions or whatever, just give me the liberty and I will do it now. I would like any World War II veteran to please stand. Thank you. Any Korean War veteran, please stand. Any Vietnam War veteran, please stand. Anybody from Grenada, Lebanon, Panama, Iraq, and Afghanistan, please stand. Thank you very much. We remember how men and women set aside their civilian pursuits to serve their nation's cause, defending the freedom of mankind and preserving our precious American heritage. We believe our strength on the field of battle, on the supply lines, which nourished our armed might, lay in the justice of our cause against the forces of evil. We believe our determination made us better warriors because we fought with our minds and our hearts as well as our bodies. We recognize service to our country, and her cause does not end with the termination of military service. We continue our endeavors in the behalf of an honorable world peace with the feeling of profound gratitude to God and to the men and women who gave their lives as they're part of the cost of this noblest of causes. Out of blood and sweat, we learned the purpose, sacrifice, tolerance, bravery, and discipline. These are solid foundation stones upon which a great nation is built. In our continuing quest for an honorable world peace, we must cultivate these virtues. At this time, I will have our auxiliary president to please come up and give a few words.
The waging of war involves more than just the combatants who fight to the death on the field of battle. The fighting forces begin at the fireside and in the hometowns. The repercussions of war's terrible brutality have chilled the heart and dimmed the hopes and dreams of many a loved one left behind on the home front. While the horrors of the battlefield may not have been our experience, we have lived with the terrifying loneliness created to answer an aggressor's challenge. In waging war, we have moved forward with a unity of purpose which made us strong, forgetting pettiness, egotism, and pride. Our hearts beat in tune with those in other nations fighting for freedom and the dignity and opportunity of mankind. In our constant quest for honorable world peace, there is need for unity of purpose if we truly are to move forward toward a brighter tomorrow.
Thank you, and I apologize. This is Amber St. John, president of the Legion Auxiliary. At this time, if I could have VFW member Ken Peets please come up for reading.
If there be glory in war, it is the almost incredible spirit which engenders. Those who offered their lives sacrificed their all with magnificent abandon. Heroism becomes contagious. Yet too, in warfare, greed and brutality are epidemic. Too often, it is these letters which persist in peace that follows. Let us strive to see the same spirit of self-sacrifice is cultivated in peace as has been exhibited in war. It behoves us to rear new standards of success, to inspire youth in peace as youth was inspired in war. Public honor must be given where public honor is due, not to this manipulator of market, the seeker after profit, power, or position, or rather let us honor the heroes of science who alleviate human suffering and carry to the greatest heights the standards of civilization. Let us honor those in public service, seek not how much they may secure from the nation, but how much they can give. Let us honor those who devote their lives to the education, which will lead our children on to live and laugh and learn and love as we have only dreamed of doing. Let us honor those veterans who carry into ordinary affairs of life a noble idealism and sincere capacity of self-devotion. Let us translate the devotion of war into the devotion of peace. Let us will to live as well as die for our country. Semper Fi for all veterans and people.
Thank you, Ken. I will now call on Linda Yell, one of our female veterans here at the post.
The hurts of war fall alike upon those who wear the same uniform, no matter how they may differ in race, creed, or culture. Those who fight together suffer together to achieve a common aim. In the simplicity of battle dress, there is a common denominator, the common purpose, the sharing of danger and suffering, which brings in time of war a tolerance which adds strength to the cause. As we put aside the brown and blue and green fabrics that made us one people on the battlefields, we can hold in our minds that tolerance we have achieved. In tolerance, there is progress toward a better and happier world.
Thank you, Linda. time of peace, we can use the ennobling virtues of war and put behind us its ugliness and suffering. In peace, we shall go forward to scale new heights of achievement in unity of purpose, in sacrifice for the common good, in tolerance for those of different faiths and creeds, in bravery to fight for social and economic gains, and in the discipline of good citizenship. We shall move forward in the sight of God as a strong nation in a peaceful world. At this time, if the honor guard could proceed to the outside. Once we are done our presentation in here, the honor guard will be firing outside, so anybody that would like to is welcome to go outside for that. If it is too chilly or whatever, you're welcome to stay inside. Right? I'm just going to digress here for just a minute. I want to talk a little bit about North Country Honor Flight. And North Country Honor Flight is a group of people that have gotten together and provide any World War II vet a chance to go down and see their World War II memorial in Washington, D.C. at no charge to that World War II veteran. And a lot of times, the stories are not told to the family when that World War II vet came back, or even a lot of times through their lifetime. You don't know about some of these World War II vets until after they pass away. One of them that I would like to bring up today is a gentleman by the name of Glenn Wilder. Glenn's wife, Glenn, I can't remember when he did pass away, but Glenn's wife, Fern, just passed away. And from her estate, given to us here in the Legion to put on display, was a picture of Glenn, and also when I talked to some of people that knew Glenn, didn't realize that in World War II, he was issued the Bronze Star. And that Bronze Star has been given to the Legion here to be put on display. Also, with that Bronze Star came the citation that was written up for that Bronze Star. And I would like to read that here now. Glenn was a member of the American Legion here. The commanding general, 1st Cavalry Division, takes great pleasure in commending Technician 3rd Grade Glenn W. Wilder, Headquarters Detachment, 1st Cavalry Division, upon receipt of the Bronze Star Medal. As announced in General Orders Number 187, Headquarters, 1st Cavalry Division, dated 8 October 1945, Technician 3rd Grade Glenn W. Wilder, then Technician 4th Grade, Cavalry, United States Army, for meritorious achievement in connection with military operations against the enemy at Leyte Province and Mindanao, Philippine Islands, from 22 October to 31 May 1945. During this time period, Technician Wilder, in his capacity as chaplain's assistant, exemplified exceptional courage and initiative in performance of his duties. He was often called upon to travel through rugged terrain and enemy-infested territory, disregarding the safety of his own life for the benefit of his fellow soldiers. He aided in the identification and burial of the American dead, and recovered isolated bodies under the constant threat of enemy snipers. Technician Wilder's reassuring sincerity and infectious enthusiasm did much to promote and retain a high degree of morale among the fighting men. His initiative and devotion to duty, in total disregard of hours and adverse conditions, contributed greatly in the efficiency of the chaplain's office, thereby aiding immeasurably the successful completion of these campaigns. Signed by William C. Chase, Major General, U.S. Army Commanding. This is just another story of our World War II vets that a lot of people didn't realize. People that were next door to you. And this will be proudly put on display in our case. More than one day, that is how many members of our active duty military, National Guard, and Reserve forces have committed suicide over the last year. More than one a day. Simply put, we are losing more service members by their own hands than we are by the enemy in Afghanistan. Only those who experience firsthand the horrors of combat can understand why most of these young men and women feel compelled to take such drastic and permanent measures. But those of us gathered here to observe Veterans Day know that we love them. We appreciate them, and we are grateful for their service. We are their friends, their family, their co-workers, and their neighbors. It is up to us to ensure that every veteran feels that his or her service to this country is appreciated by their fellow Americans. There are many tangible ways that we can acknowledge their sacrifice, but the easiest is to simply say, thank you for what you have done for our country. If he is showing signs of unhappiness or depression, encourage him to seek help through the VA immediately. If she has difficulty obtaining the benefits that she is entitled to, let her know that the American Legion and VFW have thousands of trained service officers nationwide that will help her navigate the bureaucracy free of charge. And if that veteran has made the supreme sacrifice, remember the price that has been paid for our freedom, and offer your support to the loved ones left behind. Veterans Day is a time to honor not just those who have fought for us in battle, but in fact all of the outstanding men and women who served in our nation's armed forces since our founding more than 237 years ago. Not all veterans have seen war, but a common bond that they share is an oath in which they express their willingness to die defending this nation. Perhaps most significant in preserving our way of life are the battles that America does not have to fight, because those who wish us harm slink away in fear of the Coast Guard cutter, the Navy aircraft carrier, the Air Force fighter squadron, or the Army soldier on patrol. Or they have heard the words that recently retired General James Mathis shared with his Marines. Be polite, be professional, but have a plan to kill everybody you meet. On May 21st of this year, the United States lost one of its bravest veterans. Army Technical Sergeant Vernon McGarity was seriously wounded during a German artillery barrage at the Battle of the Bulge. Refusing an offer to be medically evacuated, he tenaciously led a small unit against the enemy's Great Western Front offensive and rescued two of his wounded comrades under fire. He directed a devastating fire on a light cannon which had been brought up by hostile troops to clear resistance from the area. He took it upon himself to destroy a machine gun position by killing or wounding all hostile gunners with his deadly accurate fire. Only when his squad's last round had been fired was the enemy able to advance and capture McGarity and his men. For his actions, McGarity was awarded the Medal of Honor. After the war, McGarity served in the Tennessee National Guard for 28 years, retiring as a lieutenant colonel. He also worked for over 3 decades for the Veterans Administration in Memphis, helping his federal veterans secure the well-deserved benefits that they earned. The valor and dedication that defined warriors from previous generations continues today. April 15th, 2013 was the day that changed Boston forever, when two cowardly terrorists detonated bombs at the end of the Boston Marathon. 3 innocent people were killed and hundreds wounded, and at least 15 victims lost limbs. Enter Marine Captain Cameron West and retired Marine Sergeant Gabriel Martinez. Both were among a group of wounded warriors who visited the Boston's medical center 6 days after the attack. The two men, West, who had previously lost his right leg during action in Afghanistan, and Martinez, who lost both legs, shared their upbeat attitudes with the Boston victims. One victim, Celeste Corcoran, was still naturally despondent over the recent loss of her legs. "I can't do anything right now," she told the Marines. "After this, you'll be more independent than you ever were," Martinez answered. "This isn't the end, this is the beginning." While we should all be grateful for the remarkable advancements made in military medicine and prosthetics, the fighting spirit and inspirational stories of our veterans are not due to technology. These traits come from the heart. When then Governor Ronald Reagan introduced returning POW John McCain at a speaking engagement in 1974, the future president asked, "Where do we find such men?" He was speaking of many veterans when he answered, "We find them in our streets, in the offices, the shops, the working places of our country, and on the farms." And many of these veterans are women, such as Army Chief Warrant Officer Lori Hill. While piloting her helicopter over Iraq in 2006, she maneuvered her chopper to draw enemy gunfire away from another helicopter to provide suppressive fire for troops on the ground. Despite flying a damaged aircraft and suffering injuries, she landed the helicopter safely, saving her crew. For her actions, she became the first woman to receive the Distinguished Flying Cross. Women are major contributors to our military presence in Afghanistan, and many have given their lives in the war on terror. The American Legion recently issued a report calling upon the VA to improve its response to the unique needs of women veterans. The VA and military health systems need to adequately treat breast and cervical cancer as well as trauma that resulted from domestic violence, sexual harassment, and assault. America is home to more than 1.2 million women veterans, and they deserve our support. Ladies and gentlemen, let us always treat our 22 million veterans as saviors of our country that they are, even when the guns are no longer shooting. Thank you for being here. God bless America, and God bless our veterans. This will end our activity inside. We will have the firing of the volley outside. Again, for people that want to go out to witness that. After that, you're all invited back in here for soup and sandwiches. And I'll probably have a few little announcements to make at that time. Thank you.
Honor our departed comrades. Honor guard. Hoop. Form up. Ready up. In. Fire. In. Fire. In. Fire. Prepare up. This will conclude our ceremonies outside. You're all welcome to go back in and have a light luncheon. You can use this door here, please. Oh.
I finally saw one of mine fall in a cord puddle or something like that.
Did you ask her?
There's people.